Hello, Anja Bakker. At last we get to meet. This is so exciting. And I'm just going to change the view of this so that everybody can see us side by side. There we go. It is so amazing to meet you because I followed you through Rome, and I'm just going to explain to everybody who might watch this that well, where do we start? We start with Anja did a pilgrimage from her door in Ireland, Clonakilty, to Santiago in 2010 with Sean the harp on her back, and we're going to get into that. Then she did a second pilgrimage. There's Sean in the background, to Rome, 3,200 kilometers from her door again to Rome in 2018, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And now she is doing a third pilgrimage. So it's a trilogy, and she is in Ireland. It is day 7, and she's walking to Jerusalem. And I followed your journey in Rome, and at last I get to meet you. So I'm so excited to be able to interview you today. How are you?
I'm good. I have a lot of moments of like, it's still really early in the journey, and I didn't really train for this one because between the pandemic and all the other crazy stuff that was going on, I was in a kitchen up to 2 weeks ago. I was still in a kitchen looking at walls and a chip and a fryer that I was cleaning every day. So it's really slow at the moment, and I'm overcoming my fear of being on the road again and knowing that this is going to take me a long time.
About a year?
It is good, though. It's good, but I can feel, my head is very much in my body. I injured my thumb a few days before I left, so I have issues with playing. So I'm carrying a harp, and I can barely play it at the moment because my thumb isn't working. So I'm a 7-fingered harp player at the moment. But yeah, the commitment always was for me to want to become the woman who carried a harp from her hometown. I'm not originally from Clonakilty. I'm originally Dutch Canadian, but I've been living in Clonakilty for the past 25 years. And I wanted to connect that place. We have a St. James as well, about 7 kilometers outside of Clonakilty, and connect St. James to the big pilgrim places in Christianity. Not necessarily because I'm religious, but because it's a context that I understand. I was raised as a Catholic, so it's about the context. And yeah, I have met people who've done all 3, and it's extraordinary what seems to happen. And it's hard to explain, but I decided in 2010, when I arrived in Santiago after a long and angry walk, 3 months of being a very angry woman, that I wanted to be part of that group of people. And I just didn't know how long it would take me, or why even. I don't really know why. I suppose because I can, and because I believe that we are free and that we should do those things. If you have a crazy passion, you should go out there and live it up as much as you can, do it, because one life, one shot, off we go. So that's where I am. That's what I'm at.
I am so with you. And what you talk about there feels like a calling. I think pilgrimage is like a calling. And I seem to go back, and I have this pull to go back. And just before I started interviewing you now, I'm busy organizing my group pilgrimage. And it's Wonderful. So different to what you're doing. We're having a little bit of luxury there, Anja. But what I love about you is you are an original style pilgrim. You do it in a simple way. And I think what you're doing forces you to
Yeah.
really simplify. And I listened to an interview with you where you said you've actually decluttered your whole life since you've gone on pilgrimage. Your home is very simple and frugal. Your life is frugal. You even said you decluttered your music. And
Yes.
you are a musician, and part of the joy you bring on the road, and I know you're going to bring to so many countries on this pilgrimage, is playing Sean the harp for people.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain to us, to everybody, about that?
Yeah. It's I think that what I realized once I started walking, once my initial anger was gone and I came back from Santiago, I went through another period of kind of flux in my life. And then when I went to Rome, I realized that these lessons that we are learning and about who we really are, if you go out there and you walk, and you just walk because you're right. Like I go because I have to go. Like this is not, I don't really plan it. I know my roots. And after that, I don't know. Like I tried again, to phone and organize things, and I'm just really bad at it. But I wake up and I have to go. What do you do? So I just go, and whether I have money or not, or I'm still gonna go. So that's what happened the first two times, and it turns out that that's again the way it is this time. But I am learning really profound lessons about my life and who I am and what it means to be a human. The rat race definitely is far behind me. It's not something I have any affinity with anymore. I don't feel the need to organize or to be prepared, because if you're doing what you have to do, you will be provided for. Maybe not always in the way that you think or you expect, but the road will open before you. And I'm with you. We are called to walk pilgrimage. It's easy to say, oh yeah, well, it's a cheap holiday, but it's not. It's not. It calls, it pulls, it tugs at you, and then you go, and then everything goes out of the window. everything you thought you knew, everything you thought you understood. And the last time I did, I really learned that I really struggled with this idea of divine providence. Could I just go out there? Was that because people were asking me, well, how do you pay for this? And I went, I honestly actually do not know. And then they said, so you play music along the way to make money. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, that was the original plan, but that's not how it works, because as a pilgrim, you travel every day. You're always moving forward, daily. You're pushing. I normally play every day. And that means that I do a 6 hour, 7 hours, sometimes 9 hour walk. Then I rest, I drink something, and then people talk to me, and I share the stories and the music. But of course, I'm tired. That's after all my work has already been done. So it's kind of in this semi state of consciousness and awareness, and the other half of me can only think about having a beer and going to bed. So I found that, and people are very willing to give you the beer if you tell the stories and you play the songs, but they're not going to give you money. They're not going to give you a job. I'm not going to be. I've done some amazing churches. I've sang in the Sistine Chapel. I've stood in some. I managed to play in the Reims Cathedral and in Pavia in a big cathedral as well. And sometimes I have really good audiences. But I could be playing for an old man and a dog, but if the old man and the dog are giving me a bed for the night, and I've done a good job that I'm provided for, because that's really all I need. And I found that once I got over the Alps heading towards Rome, that the Italians went like, this is what it's all about. This is what it is. And they just carried me. They literally carried me. They gave me beds, food every day, and went like, if you will sit out on our squares and if you will meet our people and you tell your stories, then we will hold you and we will love you and we will bring you there. And the moment I said I was heading to Jerusalem, they went like, she's going to Italy. And I went, no, I'm not on the way out anyway. But if I return on foot, then I will do the southern leg. And I started getting messages saying, we will carry you, we will do our best to get you back and to show you the rest of the journey.
Wow.
It,
Because, yeah.
yeah.
Because you are taking, I'll just let everybody know, you are taking a year to walk to Jerusalem, and then you're not only doing that, from what I understand, you're going to turn around and go all the way back to your home in Clonakilty. Is that
I'm going to, that is the plan, yeah. Now, whether that is possible or not, like this journey, the first time, like to Santiago, we all know that we can walk to Santiago. That's very possible. I'm going to get a poof here. I'm going to sit down a little bit higher. We can all walk to Santiago. That's okay. You know, it's pretty well organized. Let me see my good toe. Yeah, it's pretty well organized. Rome is a different challenge. It's I walked from the Celtic world into the Roman Empire in England. You know, there's that break point in Wales where you, on one side it's Celtic, on the other side there's the last Roman road. And then you walk over the Roman road, so you're really looking at empire and what that did and how that worked and the history and the kings of France. And it's just mind-boggling. And then Jerusalem, the pilgrimage of the soul, is really where we get challenged really, really quite strongly. I'm not even out of the country, but the idea of actually leaving Europe and walking outside of Europe as a woman alone with a harp on her back, that's a scary prospect. Because we're full of prejudice, right? And that includes me. So by shedding stuff in my life and by shedding the commitment to society, as you know, the most important thing is that you pay your taxes and that you have a car and that you buy a house. Those are admirable aspirations. I'm not saying they're wrong, but these are not my choices anymore. My choices now are to stand between heaven and earth and be the best person that I can be while connecting to as many people as possible, because we are all family, right? We're all friends and we're all family. We just don't know it because we live in our in our places, in our lives where we're trying to be safe. And what we try to express when we go on pilgrimage is that no, our family is everywhere and we're all the same and we're all equal, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Once you get on those roads and you go along and you meet the people who live along there, they teach us those lessons about, you know, that even that the poorest of poor will share with you, and that the richest of riches often will exclude us. Now, this is not a rule, by the way, because I've slept in palaces. I'm in a pretty expensive hotel tonight, which was a gift from a friend of mine. But last night, the night before, I was in a caravan. I didn't know where the electricity was. I had this young French guy hook up the electricity, and it turned out there was no water. You know, there was a well of the road, and the gift is the same, right? The gift is coming from the same place.
Yeah. So I want to ask you. Yes,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Yeah. So
no, ask away, because I know that I can go on forever. Like, do try to make me be specific. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, I'll bring you back to all my juicy questions I want to ask you. So, you know, your first walk you did, and I'm bringing this to the front because I work with mental health and well-being and healing.
Yeah.
And I know your first walk you said you did for your mother. You carried that harp like a cross. You carried her pain because she was abused. And the Murphy report came out detailing sexual abuse in the Catholic Church in Ireland. And you walked for her, brought it all to a head for you. You were very rattled by that. Then you walked to Rome. Now, you told me just recently you're doing this walk for yourself. So I want to ask you, is there any healing still involved in this walk? Because when I take my group on pilgrimage now, I'm asking them to look at anything in their lives that they want to really bring to the front, set intentions and walk with it and see where it leads them by the end of the walk. So what is this walk to Rome? Why are you doing it? What does it mean to you personally?
It's a continuation of what went before. So I was very angry with my mother always. I had a strained relationship, to say the least. The Murphy report dealt with institutional abuse. Sorry, that just so that is clear. It was institutional abuse. Now, my mother did not grow up in Ireland. She grew up in the Netherlands. And I think it rattled me so much because I realized that it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And then on that walk, that is what I found as well. And my statement was, all abuse is always wrong. And I wanted to hold space. That's why the harp had to come, because I wanted to hear the stories, because I wanted to understand more. It turns out at the end of that walk, I have walked out of what happens in abuse. If you have a parent who has been abused, there's a good chance that if they don't deal with that, if that is not worked at in their lifetime, it passes on. And apparently, even like a study that came out not too long ago, wonderful book, Did Not Start With You, by a Dutch man. It explains how it passes on through, how trauma passes on through the DNA. Yes. Now, I did some really weird, out of character things as a teenager, and now I understand why. That is directly related to the pain my parents went through. So my father grew up as a child in Amsterdam during the Second World War. He was very young, and my mother has then the abuse background. You get some really, excuse my French, fucked up situations within the dynamics of the family and the dynamics of the children. So the second walk I dedicated to my father, because I thought, well, if there was an issue with my mother, it definitely was an issue with my father. I didn't figure it out on the walk. And my dad died 6 months after I returned, but it's only starting to emerge what was going on there. Now, that was related to the war. So I felt that in order to overcome all of it, I wanted to do the third walk for me and my brother, for the future, for my child.
Oh my goodness. So
a better way.
You are
overcoming my own stuff. So it's an ongoing journey. Now, my rule is always, and I think that is, and maybe this is something that is really helpful for the people that you walk with, not so much constantly to go inside, but to it will be brought to you from the outside. Open heart, open mind. When people approach us and they are asking us questions, not to immediately go like this, but to really, really take them at that moment, and then afterwards go like, how does this relate to me? How does this relate to my life? Because there's a lesson in every person that we meet on a Camino. They all have
a beautiful point. Yes.
Yeah. That is something that I've learned. So that is, and this time, so therefore prejudice, my prejudice against a lot of the world and even people. And if I can get rid of that, then, because it's like I've been peeling away the layers, and the last relationship I've got, my mother is now is got what is Parkinson's and dementia. She still knows who I am, but she might not know who I am by the time I come back. My dad is gone, and so there's me, my brother, and our children are left. So we have to look forward. So can I overcome my fears of what the rest of the world has to offer? And can I find the strength to keep standing up straight and playing that harp and walking all that way? And
oh my goodness.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So this is, for me, this is the ultimate healing journey. I love going on pilgrimage wide awake to the signs. Like you say, it's in other people, and you're always processing it and integrating what's happened to you. And it's almost like we have this pull to resolve the traumas of the past. And absolutely, there's that intergenerational, intercultural, the family trauma that all seems to come to us to find resolution. So I find that fascinating.
Every generation has the opportunity to heal the pain of the past. Yeah. So whatever is given, so rather than saying like, oh, you know, we were done wrong by, no, every parent will try to do their best for their children. Every mother wants to keep their children safe. I know there's the odd one out, but even that was not their intention, you know, and society has become such a complicated place where it becomes impossible to work with these things because we're constantly distracted by what is demanded of us. But then we have to ask ourselves the question, what is the purpose of every life? What is it that we're actually here to do? Are we here to fulfill society's demands, or are we here to be the beings of light that we have the potential to be? We have the potential of godliness. It is our choice to either follow that path or to ignore it. And there is no judgment in that. However, for me, I have a daughter. I love her with everything that I have. And if I did wrong by her for whatever reason, I want to make sure that she has every chance of having the best life possible. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about being a whole human being and expressing her life fully and being able to love. Like, I've never been married because I have issues in relationships. And it's, that comes from where I come from. Yeah. These people really struggled. They really, really struggled. And it's my honor. It's really, truly my honor. My dad always used to say, every household carries a cross and my daughter carries a harp. So to me, that's an honor because I have an opportunity to create a better world. Everybody who meets my daughter may become a better person because of it. I mean, how amazing is that? Like,
oh my
wouldn't
word.
that just be the dream? That would be the dream for me.
This is a journey to wholeness. And as you've pointed out, it's not a selfish one. You're actually doing it on a deep level for everyone in the past and the future, in your family. And people are going to be watching you as you walk to Jerusalem. I love the fact that you are able to use social media to record this journey. There are no frills. I've watched you getting changed in albergues and drinking your coffee, and you even said to me now, I might have to move around. I saw you put calendula on your feet. I love the fact that you're so natural, because when I go on pilgrimage, I need the right hat and I need to look a certain way. So you are so refreshing. So I want to get to a few of the logistics. You are carrying about 20 kilograms, because I believe your harp with the frame comes to about 11 kilograms. And then you've still got about 10. Then you've still got all your clothes and some food and toiletries. And I know that you had to shed a few bags in the first few days because you were trying to carry your whole house with you. So tell us a little bit about the logistics and how much you walk every day.
There's the harp.
Yeah,
this Sean. Is my dog. That is Sean, yeah. There he is. Can you see him? Yeah, there he is. With my shell, of course. The shell is there. Yeah. And these are the bags I carry during the day. That is for food and medicine and stuff. And these are my clothes. That's my entire being.
A true pilgrim. And
Missy, of course. It's all out now. I have to repack it pretty soon.
And you're Yeah, logistics. You're walking. I heard you say you're not trying to overdo it because you have to keep your body intact for this long journey.
At the end of Rome, I was crippled. I was literally crippled. But I had been pushing the whole way. The whole way I was pushing. I had this feeling that, there was thunder and lightning all the way through France. Every night there'd be horrible storms. And they kept saying to me, like, what does it mean? And I said, all it is saying, pilgrim, walk, pilgrim, pilgrim, they're waiting for you, get out there. And that's exactly what I booked it. Now, I lost 2 walking partners to injury during that trip. The young guy who started with me, who incidentally came to visit me 3 weeks ago to finally close that chapter. He came to give me a big hug, and we made peace. That was tough. That was tough when he left. And then Michel, who I walked with from Pavia.
I remember Michel.
He was such a wonderful soul, and I'm secretly hoping he might show up along the road and go like, I'll walk with you.
Even my mother follows you, Anja. My mother follows you. And when Michelle dropped out, my mother was devastated. So was I, because I know what it's like to have that Camino family. So,
yeah. My neighbors were devastated. They were going like, get him back. No, like,
yeah.
This is it. Like the reason to want to go walk back, is that I have to pay homage. I'm really bad at staying in touch with people because there's so much happening all the time. But I'd like to pay homage to those who really helped and really were very meaningful all throughout those journeys and my life, so that I can say, listen, it happened. It was done. I'm done. And thank you. So I can, thank them for it. And that was, now, I don't know if that's possible. In order for that to be possible, I will have to be very kind to myself and to the world around me. So I'm going to go slow. I've not walked anything over 20 kilometers yet. That's conditioning and hills. But also that yesterday, I had the opportunity to meet a really interesting man called Christy Dollard, who set up Future Forests not too far away from here. And my friend had organized that I could stay on the grounds of Future Forest. And then when I spoke to the son, he said, you should go up the mountain and meet my dad. And I was going to go over the mountain, but my body wasn't able for it. And my friend had booked the hotel. So I had to get here to honor the booking. And I really wanted a nice shower and a good meal. But I missed the opportunity to meet this man who I would have loved to have met. And that happens to me all the time. I really have to watch that I don't overlook things, and that I don't let these opportunities of special meetings, that I let them slip. It's not about the distances. Yes. It's about the experience. And I've taken the time. I've said I will take the time to do this. So even if I do 10 kilometers a day, as long as I move forward in little increments and I can honor those meetings, then I'm in a good place. The moment I start walking 25, 30 kilometers, my body can't do it. I just, 20 kilometers, 20 kilos, I'm at my limit at the moment. For that, then I'm...
Yeah. And it's not a race. It's not a race, and it's not about the destination. It's about the journey, as we know as pilgrims. And I also love that you said you're going to sit on every park bench and smell every bloom of roses.
Every flower that I can smell. I did that up to Rome already, and people were constantly laughing at me because there's me with my nose in the rose bush. This one doesn't smell, and then the next one, ooh, this is nice, and I'd stay there for a minute or two just taking in the scent. And I feel that, especially I would be somebody, once I get walking, I should really not carry the pack for longer than an hour and a half at a time. So I said, okay, do this thing where you sit down on every bench. Just do it. Just do it. If there is a stone that says, sit on me, just sit down, even if it is. because it'll give the opportunity for that pause and that quiet.
Yes, and you have to practice radical self-compassion.
Yes.
No one's
Yes.
going to tell you to stop and rest or look after your feet. You have to do it all.
Exactly. And so the biggest thing that I did this time that is completely different from the other two trips, like the first trip, I had a little bit of money coming in every month for the 3 months that I was gone. And it was enough. The rest of it was given to me. To Rome, I left with, I think, 2,300 euros. That was all I had. And I came home with 800. I don't know how it happened. That's just how it turned out. People would give me money and they would put me up and they would feed me. I didn't know where the money was coming from, but it was there. But I kept being accused of not being a good pilgrim because I would not accept help outside of, often not outside of just the practical things. So I had a bit of a breakdown there about a month ago. I went to bed and I went like, oh my God, you never thought about the finances. How are you going to do this? Because that's me, right? I never thought about it. I just went like, oh yeah, that's all taken care of.
The dream is bigger.
Yeah, the dream is definitely bigger.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, like, even if I hadn't done this, what I'm going to tell you now, I still would have left. So it is possible to do it with no money. But I thought, no, let me. I went to bed and I was literally crying in my pillow, going, "Help me, help me! What am I going to do?" I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I knocked up a GoFundMe page because I realized that the big thing I have never done, the big weakness in me, is that I'm afraid to ask for help. That's the harp is very helpful because people will want to help you because it looks difficult.
Yeah.
But the one thing I still hadn't done was verbalize, I need help. So I woke up, I knocked the whole thing together in, I think, less than an hour. I read it back and I thought, that is inspired, like, because it's true. I need help. I need all the help I can possibly get all along the way from anybody and everybody, if possible at all. This is not for people who have no affinity with what I do. It is not, I'm not saying that people have to help me. I just wanted to put out there that I need help. And I did. And I'm so proud of myself.
Well, I'm proud of you because, you know, if you give and you don't receive, you're blocking the flow. It's about giving and receiving. And what's the old saying? Ask and you shall receive. So if anybody wants to contribute to Anja's GoFundMe, you can find it on her, she's got an internet a website. And your website is thefloutingharper.com, is that right? Flouting, Flauting. And I will put a little description with this video, thefloutingharper.com. That's her and Sean, what they're known as. And you can make a donation. You can make sure Anja has at least a cup of coffee every day and a warm bed somewhere along the way and a meal. And I think as your journey continues, more people are going to jump in and notice you. By the end of it, you are going to be so overwhelmed with support, and because you're touching something in all of us, you know, we can all relate to what you're doing on some level. It's such a graceful, humble, genuine journey. And you're striking a chord in us.
You made me chuckle there, like you saw me change in the Ostellos. You know, I never even think about those things because I'm just thinking, I do the updates daily on YouTube, this time on YouTube, because I felt that the audience is somewhat wider on YouTube than it is on Facebook. And I just do, because to me, it's like I'm just talking through what it is that I have experienced the day before and how I feel about that in that moment. And in the meantime, I'm trying to get the pilgrimage done. So I'm completely unaware of what it is I'm doing. I know I've watched some of them back, and there's me like with chunks of cheese, chunks of cheese munching away. And I thought it was kind of funny, but I was also thinking like, oh man, like I don't know what people make of this, but yeah, this is me, and that is what I said. So I'm okay with it. Like,
And you know,
I'm
Anja, that's what I tell all my clients, and that is my journey, is to be able to allow ourselves to be our authentic selves. You know,
yeah,
we so often trying to fit somebody's mold, society's mold. What should a woman look like, be like? Our conditioning, you know, what our parents told us how we should be. And I believe that is the journey to wholeness, is being able to say, this is me, and to
yeah.
totally love and accept yourself as that person. So that's why I'm so drawn to you, because you're doing that for all of us.
I walked out of the door. I was feeling really gray inside. I was still really gray and kind of blue inside. And I can feel just the head in the wind. You know, there was really, really quite strong wind there 2 days ago, and it's all blowing away. And I realized, do you know that I've never brought a coat? I bring rain gear. I don't have a coat, for instance. I've never had one on any of my pilgrimages. I thought that's really odd because it gets pretty cold, like.
Yeah.
But I don't have a coat. I've got rain gear and I've got a harp. I go like, that works too. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Like I can feel the light starting to come back up, and it's starting to grow stronger. I think that by the time the thumb is healed, that I'm ready to really be out there and just embrace the world. I would love to give the whole world a big warm hug and go like, it's gonna be okay. You know, it's gonna be okay. We're okay. We can do this. But that's just me. That's just me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to
Well,
be able to.
well, it's an incredible undertaking, and you're going to be doing it for all of us, because whether somebody's dealing with a difficult relationship, or they hate their job, or they're dealing with past trauma, we've all got some difficult paths to travel. And I think
Yes.
this is why this is so resonant, that we can just keep going forward, keep moving forward, one step at a time, and the beauty unfolds. Because as you say, this is such a beautiful life, and we're so part of the natural world. So to get out there and
Yeah.
express that and be part of it, I think makes us stronger.
Yeah. And forgive ourselves. Keep forgiving ourselves. You know, it's okay to be angry. I've been so angry in my life, so angry. But the anger came from the inability to forgive others and myself. I've been so sad. I know, you know, like I always, the only thing I always worry about is that I don't want to be one of those people who's always crying, but I cry. I do. I get really upset and things really get to me, and I cry. And I find crying very helpful. It is, you know, it just lets it, and then it's gone. Then that bit is gone again. And every time that happens, there is a bit more love and a bit more
Yes,
compassion comes in. And
yes.
there's a lot of stuff I don't understand either. And I get really frustrated, and you know, I'm definitely no holy person in any way, shape, or form. But I realize that that is what we are. We're humans. We're fallible. I make mistakes all the time. And all I can do is take a deep breath, you know, breathe through it. I keep hearing my yoga teacher in my ear, so hum, you know, breathe in, breathe out,
Yes.
keep breathing, smile, be like water, be the, what does he always say? Be the flower in a concrete garden, you know, and love yourself, forgive yourself, think about the beautiful things that you know, the things that you really really love, and amplify that 1,000 times. And when we start that process, Now, people, be warned, when we start that process, initially, fear will give us some really hard experiences. But once you face them, you go in there and you go like, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this. And then the door opens and you're out in the field and it's gone, you're free, it's done, and it'll never come back. Maybe in little bits, little reminders here and there.
Yeah.
We have the capacity of godliness, which is like mind-blowing when you think about it. And we really do, even little old me, you know, and I'm just one woman with one harp. I'm no different to anybody, you know, I'm the same like anybody else. I don't come from, you know, I have great privilege because of the part of the world where I'm from. But apart from that, you know, I'm just one of many, and I just walk in the footsteps of millions of people who have gone before me. And it's a great honor. It's a great honor. And it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and you're a brave woman. And so I'd like to just wrap this up now. And you're walking, I want people to remember, you're walking to Jerusalem. Okay. How many kilometers to Jerusalem?
It's about 6,000.
6,000. Okay. And you don't know, I don't think you're revealing yet exactly your route. No. So that's
because
great.
I have an idea. Like I know that I will be. I hope I should be in Turkey by winter.
Okay.
And then I have to make decisions about how and what and where and who and.
Yes.
I'm still working on it, and I also think that there is no point.
Yeah.
Because first I need to get. I'm going like, if I can get to Dublin, I can get to England. If I can get to England, I can get to Holland. Because it's too big, I cannot actually comprehend.
Yes.
And I have a dream about this trip, but I don't know if it's possible. Yeah. So I have to wait and see. I know for sure that I'm heading for Istanbul, and after that, Istanbul, Konya, and then it becomes. I have to think about it, and I have to sit with it, and I have to watch the signs. You know, if the signs are good. And my wish is always to keep my feet on the ground. That's my wish always. Yeah.
Yes. So if you want to follow Anja on this amazing pilgrimage, this third pilgrimage, you can find her on Facebook, you can find her on Instagram and on YouTube. You can watch her daily updates. And it is Anja Bakker on YouTube. And it is the Flouting Harper on... That's her website, Anja Bakker on Facebook, and there's a Flouting Harper. She's everywhere. You have to follow her because this journey is going to unfold. And if you want to make a donation, she'd really appreciate that. I think she has a hammock and a sleeping bag, and a warm bed would be really nice as she...
Always really nice.
Yes.
Yeah. I accept everything. Everything. Yeah.
And Anja, I really hope we can chat again over this year. Maybe we can do have another few chats. And I wanted to sign off and let you get going because I know you've got to start day 7. And I just wanted to give you my pilgrim blessing. Here's my shell. So I wanted to say, I'll be with you, my friend. Anja and I have had a few little chats over the last few years, and we also hope to meet up one day somehow. And
our paths will cross.
Yeah,
our paths will cross.
Our paths will cross because we're both entrenched in this journey. We love it. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak to everyone and to me. And so lovely to speak to you for the first time in person.
Yeah, very, very nice meeting you. And thank you for all your kind words and your support. You know, it's also in our hearts and in our minds. That is the kind of support that is also really, really important. Because, you know, that's the wind underneath the wings. That is what keeps us afloat in the sky. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So thank you very much.
You're a beautiful pilgrim. Thank you so much. We are all with you. And in true spirit, I'm going to say buen camino.
Bon camino. Bon
Okay.
camino.
All the best,
Bye,
Anja.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.